Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ginger Broderick, and I'm the host of the Ginger New York TV show. Welcome to our Friday afternoon show. It is Ginger Fridays at M&M TV Studios. My guest today, he's returning from last week. It's Billy Goodwin. It's so fun. We've never had a returning guest 2 weeks in a row, but he's really special, and I've been waiting a long, long time for him to come in, so it's really fun to have him here. And highlight of his career, being featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine, 1983. It's vintage 1983 sports memorabilia. Billy Goodwin.
Hello, Ginger. Thanks for having me.
Isn't it fun to have you here? Thanks for coming back.
Being back with you.
I waited a long time, so it's like, you know, I want you in for as many weeks as we can have you here.
Wow, we're going to go for a third week?
I'm going to bump everybody back. So it's fun to see you.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah. So we have a lot to talk about. We talked about so many things last week, and we still have more to talk about. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you back here. We have some photos and videos that we're going to be showing later on in the show. Okay. And your friend Sam is going to be coming back as well.
Sam the man.
Sam's the man. I know you from St. John's. You were a sophomore when I came out, or maybe a junior. You were 2 years ahead of me. Yeah. So I know you from that, and it was so sad when you had to graduate and go on. But boy, you went out with a bang. You know, being on Sports Illustrated magazine. What was it like to be on that cover?
Well, I guess it's like everybody's dream. You know, it's the ultimate for a young kid when you start playing a sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, to end up on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Not many people get to do it. So.
I work with a very famous photographer, Albert Watson, and I showed him this, and he went, wow, it's really hard to be on the front cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. And he does a lot of cover photos and album cover photos of very famous people, and that's what his remarks were when he saw you that. Yeah, unbelievable. So last week I gave you a new pop art of your...
Yeah, this one's
Isn't that
for
great?
me. I'm going to keep this one. You can't have it, Mom.
I understand that you gave it to your mother last week.
Yes, I did.
That's cute.
She was really happy to get it, too.
Oh, that's fun. You said that you were going to keep it, but then you end up giving it to her.
Well, you know, because I'll tell you, my father's a little bit ill, and so he enjoys stuff like that.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, so we took it to him. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, so he can enjoy it.
It's wonderful. It was really, and Mr. Watson really liked that as well.
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone does, right?
Like, yeah. It's like, wow, that's
maybe
really,
you can
really
get
nice.
one for me.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, there you go. That's like asking for a birthday present, right?
Yeah.
Every day's my birthday. Yes. Today's my birthday, just for you to
Happy
be
birthday,
here.
Ginger.
Thank you. When's your birthday, Billy?
April.
April 5th.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about St. John's last week. So tell us a little bit about what happened to you after St. John's.
Well, after St. John's was a dose of reality, actually, because I got drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks in the 3rd round, the 63rd pick in the draft. Went to Milwaukee, which was a team of veterans and one of the best teams in the NBA at the time. Wasn't a place for me there, so I went to the CBA and then ended up bouncing around a little bit in the CBA. Played in Puerto Rico, Toronto, Jacksonville, Pensacola, and then just decided that the CBA wasn't for me. I mean, either you're going to make it in the NBA or you're not. So decided to take the overseas route. So I went to Venezuela. I played 2 times in Venezuela, in Puerto La Cruz and Caracas. Wow. I went to the Philippines.
Good for you.
And then I ended up playing, then I went to France from there, and I played like 12, 14 years in France. When I went to France, I said, well, I'm going to go for 2 or 3 months and see how this goes. And then
you had to learn a new language then, too?
In the beginning, not really, because I was only thinking I was going to stay for 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So when I flew into Nice, Nice is nice, as we say, and wow, I just fell in love with France. And,
I bet.
And you know, eventually, like 1 year, stayed the first year, won MVP in the league, and then I signed again, and then, you know, before I knew it, 1 year went to 5 years, 5 years went to 10 years, you know.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about New York. I was going to work and stay here for about 2 years after graduation, and it's 30 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like 28 years later, I'm still in France. So.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Yeah, I was the person that least likely, you would say, least likely to end up in France, because I had French as a second language in high school, but I never learned any of it. So when I got to France, it was like you should know how to speak. My mother kept saying, you should know how to speak a little French. I'm like, no, no, I don't. And funny enough, like after being insulted one time by some teammates, then I needed to know what was being said.
Oh.
So.
You went to school and learned
No,
French?
I just hired a tutor.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's a smart way to go.
I hired a tutor. Like I would practice in the morning, practice from 10 to 12,
language.
10 to 12, and then I would eat my lunch, and then from 2 to 4, my tutor would come, and then I would take a quick nap and back to practice. So this was like every day for I would say about 2 months to 3 months, and then
You're able to pick it up.
then she said, you know, you have to just go out and try to speak. You know, you're going to make mistakes, but you know that's the way you learn. And then with repetition, like when you hear a lot of words, you hear the same words repetitiously. She's like, continue. You ask always, what does that mean?
Good
and,
for you.
and so you know, and then it just became a hobby after a while. You know? And then you know, see, it always works when you come back home and everybody's like, you know, you speak French here. You know, so that worked out just fine.
It's a beautiful language. I learned it as well in high school, like 4 years. And I actually went to Paris during high school, and that's when I landed in New York, I said, I have to move to the East Coast.
And what did you think about Paris? Paris is
loved
beautiful.
it,
Yeah.
loved it. It was
Place,
very
yeah.
artistic and creative, and it was beautiful. And then I got to go to the southwest section of France about 4 or 5 years ago. I got to live on a vineyard for
Oh, wow,
about 10.
that must have been nice.
Yeah, one of my friends, his parents,
Okay.
has the space, and I had an opportunity to go, and it was beautiful country.
Yeah,
Port de France
that
goes
must
through.
have been really nice, yeah.
Amazing. I'm
No,
a wine
yeah,
drinker,
yeah.
so it was
Well,
really.
actually, where I live now, I live in Dijon, and Dijon is like the Bourgogne. It's known for that, for wine and food, you know. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm not a big eater, but I like, you know, I enjoy my wine. I always used to bring a bottle of wine back to Coach Conseca when I come, because well, now he doesn't drink wine anymore. But at the time, he's like an amateur connoisseur of wine.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any better wine than French wine. I had a really hard time coming back and drinking it here.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
didn't think.
But the wine is getting better in New York. I've seen that in the States.
Okay.
Because in California, they took they brought vineyards over from France, actually, and the people that grow them. You know, so the wines, even the French people are saying the American wine is getting better. It's a long way to go before they catch up to French wines, but they're much better than they were before.
Right. Wow. A lot of fun things. So we have to stay on track here. Time's going away so quickly. So maybe you might have to come back for a third.
Ah, there we go. We're working on a record, right?
You know, your friend Sammy Albano, right?
Yeah,
He worked
Sam
for
the man.
Sam the Man. He followed the team, the St. John's
That's
team, right? And he was here last week, and when we were talking in the green room after the show, he mentioned that he had some footage, right? So I pulled some stills from the VHS, right? Wow, that took me a long time this week. And
do they still have those?
Isn't it amazing? 1982, 1983. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
To see that
was,
footage?
That was the last game. It was in the Carrier Dome. We were playing Georgia in NCAAs.
Wow. Really exciting.
Yeah.
There's Coach Conseca in his famous sweater.
Yeah, Louis.
90 years old now. And there's you.
Yeah, I was young then, wasn't I?
Yeah, that's the way I remember you.
Yeah. I don't know why I always made these faces, huh? It was like, always
You're a serious cat.
on the court, I guess.
On the court, you're right.
Wow.
Isn't that fun to see
Yeah.
everybody? St. John's. We are
Oh,
St.
we
John's.
are I told you we took that serious, so we really believe we are St. John's, you know, and we still do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And our Indian.
Yeah.
Redmond?
Too bad. Loved that the Redmond. You know, it was like,
I caught another one of you.
yeah, always complaining about something.
That one was a good one. This one here, you got to pass, and you went and passed, and the guy behind you jumped up and he slammed right into you, and you're just like, you made the basket, but you really wiped out.
You know,
wow.
normally when I get that close, it was it was going to be a basket. Coach.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
God bless him.
Big Bill. I love this picture here.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Bill Wennington.
We were really close as a team. I mean, it was. I think that was the key to our success, because we were like really, really close off the court, and it just carried on to to our game on the court.
There you go.
That looks like
That's you. Kevin?
Yeah, yes, Kevin Williams. I was wondering if it was a Georgetown fight because we had a big fight with Georgetown in the Garden.
That was a tough team.
Yeah,
There's Chris Mullin.
Chris. That's when we used to call him Pugsley. Big Bill, Bob Kelly.
That looks like
Coach.
wonderful. There we are, St. John's and the band.
What a great moment when we had everybody follow. We had a lot of support back then. You know, the band, the kids were always there. We used to get like 19,000 people in the Garden every time we played there.
I was always there.
It was incredible.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, we had a great fan base. I mean,
That's great.
yeah, enjoyed that.
When you've been home, right, and everybody's been excited to see you, and kids that weren't even born at that time were excited to see you at St. John's when the reunion party.
Well, you know, the thing is, what's nice is in the school they have like, you know, they kept pictures of all the older players up, and so they kind of kept us alive a little bit. You know, the people walk into New Conneseca Hall, and they'll see the photo, and then when you go into the
from your cover from
right,
Sports Illustrated, yeah.
Then when you go into the annex, they have pictures of us up, so they kept us alive, which is really nice. It's nice to know that that we're still a part of the program.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is. And then now that Chris is back, I mean,
How exciting is that? I'm going to ask you again. I know that you had a meeting with him and Coach Carnesecca, and was just wondering if you might be able to.
Actually, I didn't get to see Carnesecca because he was under the weather. But Chris, you know, like I said, you know, we were great teammates, but we were better friends, you know, and so we just enjoy seeing each other and talking about old times and catching up on what we've been doing. On another note, like I had told Chris this anyway, you know, because I know all of Europe and I've been there so long. If I could ever help him with anything, he knows for a fact, you know, I'm all in.
That's great.
You know, so if I see any talent in Europe that that he needs to know about, I'm the first one. Like, he's going to try to do everything I can to help Chris along with anything I can.
That's great. And you're a radio personality over in France.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's funny. We do a radio show. It's called The Vieux de Stade. It's it means like the old people, the old guys from Marina. It could be basketball, football, soccer. Yeah, old timers. And so the town I live in, Dijon, we do a weekly show every Monday, and it's just talking about all the sports in the town, whatever that. Basically, I was supposed to be the basketball analyst, and you know, but we talk about all sports because I follow all sports. I follow boxing, soccer. I love European soccer, and all the sports in the town. So basically, we're always invited to all of them different sporting events, and so we can go back and talk about what happened in the town that week.
That's great. And who are your guests that are on the show?
Well, we have like
a panel.
We have a panel, and then we'll invite. Like one day we might invite the basketball team. One day we might invite the soccer team. One day we might invite a boxer. One day we might invite a cyclist. One day, you know, we just change whatever. And so, whatever sport we're doing that day, we will always have somebody from that sport. And then, you know.
Now, do they pass through your town, or are they playing there, or do they live there?
Live there.
Okay.
It's local. We keep. This is a way to get all.
It's a big sports town.
Yeah.
It's a big town.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked it up. I did a lot of research on you. I spent a lot of time doing research.
It's one of the. It's probably one of the biggest sports towns in France. So you know we have soccer. We have soccer first league. We have basketball. We have women's basketball, which I have my own women's team, and yeah, I have a semi-pro women's team. And we're trying to get to the next division, but it's really difficult because of money, you know. And because once you go to the next level, you have to pay everybody, and then there's so many taxes and so many different things. So, you know, but I stay really active in sports. I work with a lot of kids. I love working with kids, underprivileged kids. I take them to the basketball games. I have like 20 tickets a game, and I give them to the underprivileged kids to go to the game.
That's exciting.
Kids that can't, you know, that parents can't get them there, so I get them there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
I enjoy that.
Good for you. It's fun to have you here, Billy.
Yeah, it's nice being here.
Sammy, you want to come on up? Our returning guest from last week, who had this brilliant idea to go through all his archives.
How are you?
And he
Good
spent
to
the
see you
whole
again.
The whole week.
So
Looking through all
I
the
spent the weekend.
It's so nice of him to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it brought back great memories when I got to look at it, and you know, VHS is it's a dinosaur, kind of like him.
You know, I've been asking for that video for the longest.
Really?
Oh yeah. Every time my coach is like, "Oh, you gotta ask Sam."
32 years ago, and you know, it was the perfect song with the perfect pictures that went right to the words, and you know, it was a team that, you know, he was a very prominent member that really caught the imagination and the hearts of New York City at the time.
He said, "You'll see next year we're gonna be really
And he
good."
did, because at the start of his senior year, who do they open up against? Michael Jordan and North Carolina.
Yeah, how about that?
And they beat him in overtime.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, and then I think we ran off like 13 or 14 straight games, but
14.
Yeah,
I read the research on it.
But Coach Conasecca, he told me the summer of '82. I mean, me and Chris had went we went out to Denver, to the Olympic Training Center, because Chris he went with to the World Games, so he has actually a third medal that people don't even know about because he played with.
Well, he was at the Pan American Games also, but he broke his. I believe he broke his foot, and
that's painful.
This was after you graduated in '83.
This was in '82. We both went out to the Olympic trial, the World Game and the FIBA Game trials, and the thing was I had to go to summer school. So coach was like, "Look, you don't have two choices. Like, if they choose, you can only go to the World Games. If it's not the World Games, then it's the World Games or nothing." So when we got there, like, where can you go? So the World Game, the team that they took to the World Games, I didn't make. So Chris went. And I'm sure they won because at that time we didn't really lose international competitions then.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
it's really changed a lot.
It was different. Yeah, it was different then. I mean, we took college kids and we played real basketball. But that's just how I feel.
But you know what's also great is now he's living the other side of the pond, as they say, and we see each other once every 1-2 years.
Yeah.
But we pick up that conversation like it's 1983 and we used to see each other every day.
Yeah, but as we were saying last week, St. John's is like a family. When we all together, it's just one big family. I mean, it's the last time I was here for Coach's 88th birthday. I mean, it's just like so many different generations, but everybody's like, it's just this feeling you're amongst family. You're not, we're not amongst friends. We're like amongst family. That's just how I feel about it. I used to love just sitting in the office and listening to Coach tell stories, and because he's the greatest storyteller of all time. Am I lying, Sam? He's
quintessential New Yorker, and I believe he would have been a success at whatever he tried in life.
Yeah.
Could have been the mayor of New York City.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's the next job for him.
He was the greatest storyteller of all time. You just sit there and you just.
Have you ever thought about writing a book? Maybe the two of you can put that idea together.
I'm sure somebody.
Forget the book. I'd rather do a movie. I think we have enough material to do a pretty good movie.
That wouldn't be bad.
Well, that sounds like a great
and
thing.
we could skip the book and go right to the movie.
Yeah.
Well, listen, fellas, we've run out of time, so we're going to have to say goodbye until
Already?
next time. I
Yes,
know.
thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
It's always a lot of fun.
Really, it was
you
a
really
lot
have
of fun.
It goes too fast.
I know. It's a lot of fun for me, too. So we'll just have to bring you back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do that remote?
I want to thank everyone for joining in this afternoon show of Ginger New York, Billy Goodwin, Sammy Albano. It's been really great fun and to see all the guys here and talking about basketball and life and everything else. Right?
Great.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.